Hey guys, it's Liv here. In today's video, we're going to be doing a Wi-Fi battle with the team that we're going to be using actually for a tournament coming up soon. So I'm doing a bit of an exhibition with this. If you guys enjoy and you want to see more content like this, leave a like and subscribe. And with that said, let's get started. So for anyone who might not be aware, we do have a short that recently just went up, which will be going over the 11 Pokemon that we'll be using for this tournament. But today I chose 6 of them and I decided to build a Sun team around Scovillain and Torkoal. So the first one obviously we do have is Torkoal. It's a really good Sunsetter here, and we have Stealth Rock, Lava Plume, Rapid Spin, and Body Press. It's really just standard defensive Torkoal, and honestly, Body Press is great for handling any sort of defensive options because of Torkoal's really high defense, and it's just really good damage on Torkoal. It's borderline a second stab for it, if I'm going to be honest. And with the Lava Plume, we're able to score burns really easily while having Stealth Rock for hazards and Rapid Spin to clear my opponents. With the Drought ability as well as Heat Rock, we're able to keep Sun up for as long as possible for any of our support Pokemon, which is really useful for Scovillain as well as for Roaring Moon here. Next we do have GASTRODON with the Storm Chain ability, really great water switch in, and with the Water Ground typing, we're able to really just be an amazing defensive option. With only one weakness and having Torkoal of course to massacre any sort of grasses for this team, it's really strong counter to pretty much anything that would actually threaten Torkoal. For example, water types, Spawn sponges them. Ground types, we have Ice Beam for them. So honestly, we're pretty set here. With Spikes, it's another form of hazards that we can pair with Torkoal. With Ice Beam and Earth Power, as I said, great for handling Torkoal's options. And then Recover, on the other hand, it's just great to keep Gastrodon as healthy as possible. Whereas Spidef Wellness, mostly just because Torkoal's Fizz Def, and the two, as I said, they form a really strong defensive floor here. Up next, we do have Hatterene, which is meant to mostly just bounce back hazards while also be like our third defensive backbone here. With Psychic, Draining Kiss, Nuzzle, and Calm Mind, it's really meant to be a potential win con while still being a really good sponge. Draining Kiss is great for giving this thing some recovery. Nuzzle's decent for speed control if nothing else. Potentially if my opponent ends up having a way to take out Hatterene, I can always drop their speed with Nuzzle and then I can win the game from there. Up next, we do have Scovillain with Chlorophyll. We have Growth, Giga Drain, Flamethrower, and Fire Blast. Honestly, just meant to be a really good sweeper. With the Sun up, this thing is absolutely a monster, and it can basically just sweep past any sort of opponent that would otherwise try and threaten this. Fire Grass is pretty hard to actually handle offensively, so I decided to go for Fire Blast and Flamethrower here, with Flamethrower being a more consistent accuracy option. Meanwhile, Fire Blast, in case I need to get off a little bit more damage, Scovillain can manage to do this. Up next, we have Iron Hands with Fake Out, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, and Drain Punch. With the Adamant nature, we're honestly just going to be able to boost our attack as much as possible, especially if we do have the Quark Drive. We should be able to activate this pretty easily. With Assault Vest, we'll be able to sponge any sort of special hits from opponents, no matter what the special Pokemon is. To be honest, I've had this thing take on Fluttermane hits before in early meta, so I know for a fact that the Assault Vest with max HP should be plenty. Fake Out's great for breaking Sash options as well as Sturdy if we do end up fighting something with that for whatever reason. Thunder Punch and Drain Punch are amazing stabs, and Earthquake, it's just a really good coverage option here. Final mod on the team we do have is Roaring Moon. Now I will say that if you're running this team on your own, I recommend Terrestrial Dark. However, for the sake of the video, because of the fact that with this tournament, I had to select a specific Terra type I was using, and I chose Terra Flying, I did not have Terra Dark in this set, but I do recommend it if you're running this team at home. The team in the description will have Terra Dark in case you guys want to run it. I had to go with Flying. It's really good for defensive options still. It handles Earthquake obviously from opposing Roaring Moon, which is one of the best coverage options, as well as loses our weakness to Dragon, which is super effective from opposing Roaring Moon that would otherwise speed tie us. We have U-Turn, which is great for pivoting. On a banded set, this is honestly an amazing option as a fourth option. And then Dragon Claw and Crunch are meant to just be our primary stabs here, with Earthquake being great for steals. Overall, this is an absolute monster, especially in the Sun. We're able to boost our speed further, and in tandem with the Choice Band, which ups our attack. This thing is incredible offensively. With that said though, that's going to be our team for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the battle. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, we're here today with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we're using a team to celebrate our tournament run that we're starting next week on Sunday, and this is an exhibition game against one of my Discord members. So if you want to get some battles for singles games in the future, link to that's down below. Today's team consists of a Torkoal Scovillain Sun team. I started writing down my own team, unfortunate. But basically though, we're taking on an opponent's team for an OU game. They bring Slitherwing and Gambit, Chi-Yu, Rotom, Wash, Garchomp, and Roaring Moon. So good luck and fun on my opponent. We'll have to try and see how we can get around their team. I think that realistically, my best lead of choice here will probably end up being, I kind of want to lead off with Gastrodon. I think Gastrodon's a pretty good lead here. I'm going to bring Torkoal in the back as well as Hatterene. I don't know why I'm saying in the back as if I don't get all 6 of my Pokemon. I think I'm too used to the doubles Brain Rot, truthfully. But regardless, though, good luck and fun to my opponent. And with that said, let's get right into the battle here. I'm anticipating my opponent's lead is probably, I feel like it's probably got to be Garchomp. I can't really see what other lead would actually come here. But it could be a couple things, to be fair. I could see Slithering just leading to U-turn out, same as Rotom Wash, but it's probably going to be Garchomp. They do lead off with Garchomp. Okay, perfect. So we have the Garchomp going through the floor, of course. I'm probably going to click U-turn turn 1. I feel like the U-turn, not U-turn, Ice Beam turn 1. Realistically, my opponent's only actual switch into this would probably be Rotom, which doesn't do a lot of damage back to me anyway. And then it's like, they have a few different mons that are weak to either ice or ground, and I guess Slithering would be the next best one. So I'm gonna go for actually I'm gonna go for Spikes. Nope, I'm gonna go for Ice Beam. I want to just take out Garchomp, truthfully. This thing, it's going for Earthquake, it seems. That's perfectly fine. We should actually be pretty good against this Pokemon, thankfully. We're going to do a lot of damage to Garchomp, and we should be able to actually avoid the 2 KO here, thankfully, which is amazing for us. What I'm going to proceed to do here, I'm going to proceed to go for, honestly, I think I kind of have to go for another Ice Beam. The Spikes, while they're not bad, I think that they're definitely significantly less useful than doing something like taking out Garchomp here. This is my opponent's, one of their 2 hazard setters, the only other one being King Gambit. And my team, considering the fact that we have Life Orb Scovillain and Heat Rock Torkoal, is significantly weaker to hazards than theirs is. So I would much rather lose Gastrodon here and trade it for Garchomp to just more so get around having to deal with rocks the entire game. So that's honestly pretty decent. I'll take that trade in a heartbeat. We do have the Roaring Moon, which will be a strong win con to say the least. My opponent doesn't actually have great switch-ins to the type combination, and thanks to the Choice Band plus the Photosynthesis, we'll actually be boosting speed with our slightly cut attack stat, which will honestly be really good. My opponent's going to proceed to go into Slitherwing here, and I think that this is where I'm probably going to go. I want to say that I'm going to go into... I think I'm going to go into Torkoal, because despite the fact that I'll boost... Nope, they're probably just going to click Earthquake. I think I do need to let this mon go down, which is kind of unfortunate, because I really do like the idea of using this as a Rotom check. However, I will have Iron Hands, to be fair, so I think I'm actually pretty okay with this. So I'm just going to let Gastrodon go down here. In the off chance that my opponent does switch out here and clicks U-turn, and for some reason doesn't take us out, we're going to click Recover. Just more so to try and benefit a bit and keep Gastro alive. However, the crit, there's no way that mattered. I would be genuinely shocked if the crit doing 33% to us mattered for a Spit F Gastrodon. But regardless, my opponent does confirm they have U-turn on their spread, which is decent information if nothing else. To be fair, I will say they probably always frame U-turn here. Probably always clicked it here too, for that matter, but it's still good information to confirm, I guess. From here, I'm going to proceed to go into Iron Hands. Iron Hands should be a pretty decent option here. My opponent has lost their ground type option, and on top of this as well, Iron Hand just gets some really strong damage off. This Thunder Punch should be pretty unresisted, and I don't even really need Fake Out at this point either. So I'm just going to proceed to Thunder Punch my opponent. With our Assault Vest, we should absolutely chew this. Rotom does quite literally no damage to us. Meanwhile, we're doing about half. They're probably going to just go for... Honestly, I don't even think they can go into Roaring Moon here, because Roaring Moon would end up making them. They're probably gonna have to go for. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think weirdly enough, it might be in my best interest actually to just click another Thunder Punch. And if we take this thing out, great. They're gonna go for Hydro Pump here, so be it. Kind of shocked they've landed 2 Hydro Pumps because this move always misses for me, but you know what? I'll take it. They're gonna probably end up stacking Rotom here, which is perfectly fine. I think that I'm going to proceed to go for... I'm going to just go for Drain Punch and just get a little bit of HP back. This mon, to be fair, is mostly meant to check Rotom, so I'm okay with trading this. Again, similarly to Gastrodon, where I was okay trading that for Garchomp in exchange for avoiding hazards, I'm fine with trading Iron Hands for Rotom, because Rotom was probably like one of the best offensive options my opponent had left for Sun, so I'll definitely take this. Realistically, looking at my opponent's team, if I can take out Chi-Yu, then Scovillain should just win. There's not really a great counter left in the Sun at the very least. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. My opponent has decent options for this. But Roaring Moon should still be an absolute menace. Basically, it just comes in for free every time and should massacre my opponent. considering we do have a banded set. My opponent's going to go into their Roaring Moon here, actually, which is good for us. They're going to proc Booster Energy, which is good. We've activated the item on this Pokemon forcibly, and we know that they're attack boosting, which is really good for us, actually. From here, I'm going to proceed to go into Torkoal, actually. I want to scout for their terrestrial typing. They're probably flying, which is funny enough, it's the same as us, but I still need to obviously figure this out. This will determine turns later on, and also just making sure that we proc Torkoal at this point will be decent and nothing else, because we can potentially force terrestrial here. They're going to actually just go for Dragon Claw, which is fine for me. I'm going to go and honestly, I think I'm going to click Stealth Rocks. Despite the fact that Body Press will be a strong option here, if my opponent was to end up going for some sort of terrestrial flying here, it wouldn't really do a lot. And on top of this as well, getting hazards up is really good for Slitherwing, as well as for Chi-Yu especially, because I'm assuming that one of these mons, if not both, are lacking heavy-duty boots here, and I think that going for this attack was ultimately to my benefit. My opponent's going to proceed to go for an Earthquake this turn, fine by me. I think that I'm going to go for, I think I'm just going to go into Roaring Moon and click Dragon Claw, because I'll have the Choice Band option as well as the Photosynthesis for speed, which should mean that I guarantee outpace my opponent here. If for some reason I don't, then I'm going to be very upset. This should boost our speed though. It boosts our speed. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure because I forgot to change my spread for level 50, but I figured this still actually ended up working fine. I'm going to proceed to go for Terrestrial Flying here, solely for the fact that in case of, for some reason, my opponent goes for Terrestrial as well, I can hopefully avoid getting taken out by Roaring Moon this turn, and the Banded Dragon Claw should still be a really terrifying option for my opponent to have to take. So I'm just going to proceed to go for the Banded Dragon Claw. If Kingambit comes in this turn, so be it. It's still some really strong damage, if nothing else, on that Pokemon, because despite the fact that it is a strong Viz-Def option and also a really good resist, Banded Dragon Claw should still do enough damage to where I'm not too concerned about how much that's taking, in all honesty. So we're going to go for Terrestrial Flying here. We should be pretty good, if nothing else, in terms of taking on hits. Whether this is going for Earthquake, Dragon Claw, etc., we'll be fine. So they're also going to pop their Terrestrial here, and I'm not sure what type they're going to go for, but it's probably going to be like Dark or something. They're probably trying to weaken their Dragon. Yep, it's going to be Terrestrial Dark. Okay. So they're going for the option of boosting their stabs even further, which is fine by me. Meanwhile, I'm going for the option of trying to get a more defensive Terra type out of this. We're going to proceed to go for Dragon Claw. It just barely misses the KO here. However, my opponent thankfully did not actually end up going for the Terrestrial Dragon, which means that my Dragon Claw should guarantee take them out here. And because of our speed boost, we end up guaranteed getting that off first. My opponent only has 3 Pokemon left, which is Slitherwing, Kingambit, and Chi-Yu. My guess is that Kingambit's probably going to come in here, if not Slitherwing. Slitherwing would mostly come in here for the fact that they could First Impression, meanwhile Kingambit, because I feel like my damage output as far as a Banded set goes is pretty obvious. So, looking at their team, they have Supreme Overlord Kingambit. Interesting. I think that it's in my best interest here to just go for... I think, honestly, it's in my best interest to just let this Pokemon go down. Or actually, I could go into Iron Hands here, to be fair. I'm actually going to go into Iron Hands because Roaring Moon, to be fair, is still pretty useful for Pokemon like Chi-Yu later on in the match. So I think I'm going to keep that around, and I'm going to go into Iron Hands, and I'll go for a Drain Punch just in the off chance that I can maybe land that hit. They're going to go for Kowtow Cleave, which is perfectly fine. I'm curious if I'll actually outpace my opponent here. Maybe they don't end up clicking Sucker Punch, which would be fun for me. Actually, yeah, I'm going to click Drain Punch in the off chance that my opponent lets me get this attack off. Thankfully, they burn the Terrestrial too on the Roaring Moon, which should be really decent for me, if nothing else. They're going to proceed to go for Sucker Punch, so be it. At this point, I'm going to bring in Scovillain, which I'm going to really, really hope can take this Sucker Punch. We'll go for a Flamethrower at this point, and I'm just going to hope for the best. If I can take out Kingambit, though, this should be pretty good for us. So we'll go for the Flamethrower here. Do not take me out with Sucker Punch. I could potentially growth around this, so... okay. Oh, we just barely take it out. Okay. This should 100% take out Kingambit, which truthfully, this is like the biggest threat for Roaring Moon at this point. I don't know how we barely lived that, but it was so close. We're definitely going to end up dying to this next hit, though, which is perfectly fine. Kingambit's gone, and I have Hatterene, which I'm definitely bringing in this turn. Hatterene should be really strong against whatever option my opponent opts to do here. And I'm going to really, really hope that my opponent brings in Slitherwing at this point. I think Slitherwing would be my best bet. They're going to proceed to go into Chi-Yu. Okay, so Chi-Yu comes in. It's a little annoying. I called it turn a bit wrong. But honestly, I think I could still make it work. Beads of Ruin is going to go off, and I think what I need to do, I need to proceed to go for a Draining Kiss here. I can't really go for a Calm Mind. I could maybe go for Nuzzle and try and get some shenaniganry off, but I think ultimately I need to go for Draining Kiss, because my game plan here is basically hoping that my opponent doesn't take me out. They're going to proceed to go for Flamethrower, which is perfectly fine. My Draining Kiss doesn't really do a lot of damage, but I can't really switch in Roaring Moon either, because I need it fairly healthy actually for Slitherwing. Maybe their set doesn't have First Impression, which would be kind of what I need to bank off at this point. Maybe we could take another hit. I don't know if we can. If we do, it's going to be by like sheer luck. We'll go for Draining Kiss regardless though. They're going to proceed to go for Flamethrower, so be it. That's going to take us out. Okay. And Roaring Moon's going to have to come in, and we're basically going to need to make sure that we can not only take this hit, but we also guarantee to take out both Pokemon and don't have to deal with a First Impression here. Which maybe that happens, to be fair. I'm not really too sure. Regardless though, we're going to go for the Dragon Claw at this point, because it's probably my best option to actually take this out. They're actually going to be Scarf to you. Okay, and that's actually game. Good game to my opponent. Obviously, this was a very, very close game, but the Scarf you honestly managed to pull it off, so very good job. If you guys enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out our tournament run, which should be officially starting off every Sunday. For this particular team, I limited myself to only the Pokemon available on that roster. But if you want to see more, we have a short that actually went live on the channel for a full breakdown of our team that we're going to be using this season. With that said, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, peace out, guys.